No blasphemy intended, but let us just, for the sake of human cognitive or logical exercise purpose, assume that Jesus Christ came from Nigeria, say like Osun, Owerri, Anambra, or any part of Nigeria that you can think of. And let us assume that Amadioha or Orunmila or Batala came from either of Saudi Arabia or Jerusalem. What do you think we would have done with Jesus Christ as Nigerians or as Africans? For me, from what I know we do with deities, would have reduced them to some kind of, you know, uh, ugly looking, scary, uh, sculptural piece of work. And we would have still accepted the one they packaged from us. We would have still accepted the Orunmila from Jerusalem because they will package it alongside whatever they are giving us. And we still have accepted it. Because for me, the concept of God is that people create their gods based on how they conceptualize God. All right? Because if you tell me that God created human in his own image, then I ask you, what is God's image? Is it like Anthony Joshua or Basonjo? No, but for me, God, people create God based on how they conceptualize God. If you put Christians up in a room, for instance, ask them to close their eyes, imagine that they are communicating with God and they are talking to God. The mental picture they are forming of the God they are communicating with would be that guy they always put in calendar that has long blonde hair, fair complexion, looking gentle, meek, welcoming, mild, acceptable, caring, and all that. Because that is what they draw in magazines, calendars, and put in movies to act for them. The same way they used Elizabeth Taylor to represent Cleopatra, in movies. And Africans began to form the image of that guy as Jesus Christ. But the long story, I cut it short. Let us come to why we are still suffering today. Look at all the developed parts of the world. The idea is that God sends innovative people, which we reduce to deities to appreciate them later, at every generation as answers to specific challenges at every region. So when God is sending different messengers to different parts of the world, it is to answer for the challenge of the time at that region. But we always rejected our own. Now, deities are in human form due to modernity. Deities are in human form. So what you call brain drain or brain drain is still the same ancestral, practice of rejecting our own, revolutionaries. And because we push them abroad, they are useful abroad. We have so many deities littering Germany, China, US, everywhere. Think of India. We look at many people responsible for development of those parts of the world. They are Nigerians. But because we rejected them, the same way you rejected your deities, it's the same way. That's why the more they develop, the backward we go. Because they should have been useful for us here. But we rejected them and pushed them abroad. Now, we now have one deity that is very stubborn, that says he still must go back home and reset, because his own mission is to reset everything that we have lost and bring glories back. It's not a question of whether geographical, cutting the geographies into different regions. Whatever region you belong to, as in the essence of humanity, being human with dignity, he wants to reset everything. If you like, later cut it and say you are Biafra, and dealienate it and say, okay, this part should be called Oduduwa, what is your problem. But this deity is saying, we have some stubborn deities like that, and we don't see them sometimes in centuries. This Shore guy, because if I dey look in God sometimes, because it's not easy for person to say he won't abandon your precious wife and children abroad, to say, my mission is to reset the glory of Africa that we are losing. And Africans still want to repeat the same mistake. Nigerians want to repeat the same mistake of rejecting their own innovative and revolutionary, humans or deity or whatever you want to call him. How many people can do that? That guy, if I listen to him sometimes, they look and like, you guys don't get the insight. They take inside eye look things. So, hey, we must make sure. You see, say, they respond. If you like, yabam, abuse and do anything, they respond. That is not the characteristic of human beings that I know. That guy is some kind of deity. He's a deity. Hey, you are missing it. So when I see people appreciate as much as I also love Bobby Wine and what he's doing, when I see people saying, I see many of you people who are criticizing Showre, appreciating Bobby Wine. I'm like, you are still repeating the same historical mistake. Bobby Wine is good. But if you cannot do what Showre is doing and is doing it, why hate him? No, must you be, I don't want to use the word stupid, but you know what you are. Must you be? Get it now. This guy's mission, this deity's mission is to reset the problems, to correct the errors historically drawn. What does it take to support him? Add voice together and let everything be loud. Oh, Sheyi now.